We live in a society full of prejudices, right? So when you see a guy like me, bald, bearded, 110 kilos, rarely there will be anyone at work, at school, in public, who would dare to drop a comment or say anything bad to this guy. Would you? But the truth is that exactly this guy was also bullied. Every day throughout my primary education, I would have to carefully pick up my route to school to avoid the group of boys who had an unexplained pick on me. Never the same. The route was sometimes even walking the whole circles around the small town where I grew up, just to avoid them and not to meet them, although the school was only 3 minutes walk away from my home. So you can assume that my early schooling included lots of jogging. Depending on where I would spot them, I would sometimes even jump over fences of private houses and courtyards to come to school timely and safely. Most of the time, I would successfully avoid them on lunch breaks, but when I didn't, I would face a whole loads of hateful and derogatory comments, insults, harassments, and hate speech. Punches were included as well. Going back home was as equally challenging as going to the school. How to arrive home safely and strategically plan that way back so I avoid any contact with my bullies, spare myself of these horrible comments, and spare my ears from hearing all these horrible and hateful comments that have been thrown straight to the face of a boy who was at that time only 10 years old. Again, it was simply impossible to avoid my bullies, as I call them, throughout all 8 years of my primary education. But regardless of how hard, mentally challenging, intimidating this whole process was, I always had a choice. So that's the difference between growing up in late 90s and early 2000s with today's day, because I successfully avoid them, I don't meet them, and I don't face hate speech. Nowadays, with the accessibility of the internet and freedom of the speech in online landscape, which is, regardless of how challenging and unpleasantly bordering with the hate speech it is almost impossible to avoid those things. The internet has provided a platform where one can come to absolutely anyone at any time and serve you with the hate speech. The average internet user spends 5 hours daily online in this most often unregulated public space of our century, 21st century. Individuals, organized groups, bots of political parties, haters, fake profiles, they can all approach you via different social media, come to you and serve you with as much hate speech as they want, at any time they want, and whenever they want. Hate speech online became something that is almost unavoidable. Now, I'm intentionally saying almost, because how would you react if I tell you that there might be an efficient remedy for that? Sounds utopian, right? I know that the lights are quite on me, but let me see the hands. How many of you like cats? Exactly, everyone. The fluffiest, cutest, and the gentlest friends we all adore. And people who know me know that I'm a dog person, for sure, but my Instagram feed is completely occupied with funny cat memes and interesting and cute cat reels. Even the grumpy ones are there. But beside being nice, beside being cute and making our life more pleasant, cats might be a very efficient remedy for what is considered to be one of the most dangerous plagues of online landscape, for hate speech. And as a spoiler alert, this presentation is not about felinology. But again, mentioning cats, because I like to see that you are reacting on it, we have more than 400 million cats across the globe. There are more than 70 breeds of cats. With 14.5 million feral cats, Germany is being ranked as the European country with the highest number of feral cats. Istanbul, on the other side, is being a city of cats with more than 100,000 free-roaming cats on their street. Bosnia and Herzegovina, on the other side, is having something that I like to say it's the most unique domestic cat that the world have seen. Counter-hate speech cat. In 2017, a group of activists from all around the Bosnia and Herzegovina, exactly, they gather around the idea of countering hate speech online campaign and offering alternative to what is polluting our public spaces in the digital world, pioneering one of the first counter-speech and counter-narrative campaigns of a unique name, CAT. Shortened for Citizens Against Terrorism, CAT Bosnia and Herzegovina very quickly became one of the most popular and one of the most visited Facebook pages, with reaching to more than 25,000 Facebook followers, spreading over Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, their webpage, and using different youth-appealing formats: vlogs, videos, photos, animations, podcasts, articles, memes, and in that way creating one of the most famous domestic but yet activistic cats that I've ever seen. More importantly, as this presentation is not promotional presentation of cat campaign or felinology as well, why I appreciate this movement is because they offered for the first time a remedy for online hate speech. And they also paved the way for all the emerging cats, all the emerging counter-speech campaigns out there to protect young boys and girls like I was, like those amazing kids were a few moments ago, from being bullied, from being harassed, from being insulted, and having a sort of a support. As a researcher and professional, I'm very interested in the role of the online youth-led counter-speech campaigns in building digital resilience and digital leadership. To go with the boring definitions, counter-speech in this case would be a structured and constructive response to hateful and extremist narratives in an online landscape, initiated and led either by individuals or organized groups, using different social media, using different formats to offer a positive alternative to hateful propaganda and challenge it with satire, humor, positive stories, or similar content and messages. Now, what did this group of activists did, or what our famous and the most favorite cat did, is exactly this. They offered a structured response for the first time to something that is completely polluting our public spaces, online public spaces, using all sorts of tools and mediums and formats which are very appealing to young people nowadays. Combating and tackling some of the most burning ethno-nationalistic, political, electoral issues or any other ongoing issues that we are facing daily, unfortunately, in Bosnia and Herzegovina. In recent years, counter-speech and counter-narrative campaigns have been undertaken by a wide range of actors in Bosnia and Herzegovina, mostly by non-governmental organizations, civil society organizations, or even grassroots actors. Such activities have manifested themselves in a variety of forms, as I said, as individual responses or very structured and well-organized campaigns, but also citizens being informally engaged in creating a content, digital content, that is being critical of these hateful messages. In this case, the importance of social media for building digital resilience and digital leadership underlines the progressive potential of the internet as more than just an advertising space for internet users, social media operators, network users, or internet-based businesses. Social media at the same time present very cost-effective and practical way to reach out to target groups. So organizers of these campaigns can easily and strategically approach individuals who are already becoming part of these hateful groups, or fence-sitters, as we like to call them, the individuals who are not very criticizing this whole movement, but they are not fully opposed to it. We could reach to parents, to teachers, to professors, so to anyone, and engage them in this fight against a wide range of extremist behaviors. Without counter-speech campaigns, the field would be completely abandoned without contest to those who are advocating for hate speech, and it would allow haters and people who are bullying to dominate and poison a discourse in this online landscape. Without counter-speech campaigns, without CAT, online public space and social media in Bosnia and Herzegovina would be predominantly polluted with the hate speech and hateful narratives. With CAT, with these campaigns, or any other emerging CATs out there, there's a hope that we are finally fighting this plague. The time has come for you to use your social media effectively, more efficiently, and remedially. For me, for other boys and girls, for these beautiful groups that you've just seen performing, to help them to cross this path that I walked alone a while ago, and help them to fight this plague in the public spaces of their childhood. Well, if cats could do it, I think that we can all do it too. Thank you.